There we go.
All right, so episode 9, we are here with Kacper Wiloch. Actually, he is one of the main setter and hiring managers for seventh level, the SDR department. This guy has an amazing track record as well, worked with so many different businesses. And I believe the total revenue produced over and across these companies is around 11 million, unless I'm totally mistaken.
Could be a bit higher. I could look through the numbers. I didn't update in a
Okay, there
short
we
while.
go. So a humble 11 million there. So yeah, Casper's got a ton of insights, great experience. We've connected a little bit before as well. And I'm very excited for this one. So we're gonna pretty much dive straight in. I know I've covered mainly seventh level there, but is there anything else that you know that I've missed there in your introduction, Casper? Anything you'd like to include, just so the audience have more context on you?
That's pretty much it. Thank you for the good intro. I guess one thing that's maybe worth mentioning is that like I have no background, like no college, no, typical entrepreneurship role. We're dropped out of college, started in business. I didn't start like right away in management. I pretty much climbed up from like the bottom. So I was a DM setter, then climbed up to a DM manager, then had my own business, had to stop that. I'm sure we can talk about it more. And then joined seven level and now climbing up to that mountain. So
Absolutely. Okay, excellent. So, and that's another thing as well, because we spoke to a few guests who have previously mentioned about having businesses in the past. Obviously, the last episode, Nick Elia, who had his own agency that didn't go so well, and there's a few other guys there as well. So, I guess with that experience that you have had with running your own business, like how would you say that that helped you with, what role that you have now with seventh level and even appointment setting in general, I guess.
yeah, so one thing that like obviously the experience part, like it's helped me gain a lot of experience in like all those departments like marketing, ads, sales, like operations, all of that stuff. But also like one key thing that I'm super grateful for is that it made me realize which parts of running a business I actually do enjoy. And like to be honest, like I don't like recording content, I don't like marketing, I don't like doing ads. Like I purely enjoy sales and building operations around it. And I was just, when I was at the point where I wanted to stop doing that business with my business partner, I was like, you know what, like, fuck it. Let's just do something that just purely aligns with what I do. Like, I just don't want to have 20,000 hats on my head and 20,000 responsibilities. Let's just find a role where, I can just spread my wings in sales and operations, and that's how I started working with Seventh. So that's one of the key things that I learned. It's like when you look at YouTube, you look at Instagram, like everybody's preaching like start your like online business, make like 7, 8 figures, like retire and all that stuff. And that stuff sounds good, but often it is unrealistic because like when I'm even speaking with people who are working here or people I worked with previously, majority of they don't have businesses. They are successful though, like as well. Just because they are a closer, they funnel back their money into crypto, into real estate, like all of that stuff. And I don't think that it's for everybody. Like when you ask anybody like how much do you want to make like per month, like pretty much everybody would say like, oh, 100 grand, like a million. I'd love to make like 8 figures. But one question that a lot of people don't ask is like, do you want the responsibilities of running like a business that generates 1 million a month? And to be honest, I don't want them. Like I maybe that just sounds like, I'm just giving some excuses, but I'd rather make that money, invest it back in crypto, real estate, like, you know, take maybe a longer route, but this is just something that I'm just more comfortable with, you know?
Absolutely. And then that's the beauty of doing sales, right? Is essentially you're doing what an entrepreneur would do, but you're focusing on one sector. And actually, it's one of the most rewarding roles, whether that's being an SDR or a closer. And the main thing is you have one sole focus. You know, you're primed to do one job and do it very, very well, which is why it's paid so handsomely out as well. So no, it's definitely an honorable career to go through. And I suppose with regards to seventh level, I mean, how did that opportunity even come about for you? Because I remember for me, it was like the sales sniper seventh level train. Everybody wanted to get on it, and that was like my dream company when I first got into the space. And obviously worked for them for about a year and 3 months. And it was one of the best times that I've had was at seventh level. So for you, like how did that come about for you, and how did you get in?
Yeah, that one is a pretty funny story because I didn't follow like any normal hiring process. Like I didn't apply for semi level. Like I knew it was there. I was following Jeremy for Jesus, like 3 years. Like right when he started with his Instagram, like I just started following him because a friend sent it over. I was like, nice, that's a nice value. That's a nice way of selling. Let me copy some of that. And started using it. I've gotten results from it. And Jeremy was always like at the back of my head with seven level. Um, but then right when I stopped doing the business partnership I had with my business partner, um, some of the clients that we helped ended up going to the ClickFunnels event, and at the same ClickFunnels event, what ended up happening is that Jeremy was at the same one, and they just chime in a few good words about me because he was looking for somebody that could manage his DM setters. And like pretty much all of those previous clients mentioned me, which, only like if you think about it, networking and just helping people, like it like you have no idea how far can it go. So then I think Jeremy made another post on Facebook that he's looking for somebody like that. And like he received 20 comments. Around like 16 of them were mentioning my name. And at that time, I was, laying on the beach with my girlfriend, just, taking some time off after stopping the business. And Jeremy just messaged me on Facebook, like, hey, I heard a lot of good things about you. Like, let's connect. And I was like, no, that's a sales strategy for sure. Like, that's a VA sending
His
this.
DM setter was on his DMs. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, I just recorded back a voice message like, "Hey, I know it's not Jeremy. Like, what's up?" And then he recorded back a voice message like, "Hey, Casper, no, it's Jeremy. Like, let's connect." I'm like, "Cool. Let's hop on a call." And I think that I was actually the first person that Jeremy interviewed for his company, like overall. Like, from what he
Right.
mentioned, he only interviewed one person, which was me. Like, he never interviewed anybody else. So that's a really cool story, and
It's a
it
claim to fame
just
right there.
yeah, it's like I still kind of think about it. Like I think back, I'm like, it's like Jesus, man. Like you sometimes, you're in that space where you downplay your success. Like you kind of think like, oh, I did it, everybody else can do it. But sometimes I like to like chill back and just sit down and just think like maybe in some ways I am special. So that was definitely an ego boost right there.
No, understandable, right? And I think sometimes that is a sign of somebody who achieves a lot is when it's kind of whatever you do, you're not ever satisfied. You're always wanting to perfect your craft, do a better job, and that's and being humble about it. That's one of the most honourable character traits to have sometimes, but often it can be to our own detriment as well, where people don't realise how much value we can actually bring to the table. But you know what? Like I feel like based on what you've said, speaking about reputation as an appointment setter in this space is so important. Your reputation sends ripples. I remember speaking with all kinds of business owners, and some of them, out of surprise, I've never even spoke to them in my life. They said, "I've heard so many good words about you. I'd like to talk further." And you just think, well, who's spoken about me? Like, what have they said? Like, you
Yeah.
get very curious about it. But that's reputation. It's it's how you are known without even knowing what people are talking about. It's how they speak about you when you're not even there, right?
Yeah.
So, like, talk me through that because obviously you've done such an amazing job at it. Like, what has helped you to build that solid reputation without you even realizing if there is, I guess, a formula that you've got for it? And so, yeah, talk me through that.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a, formula that I created. It's just like genuinely being a good person. Like,
So,
the guy, I think, um Sam Grunkevich introduced me to you. Like he kind of like commented on your post for us to connect. And same, like I remember how that happened is somebody messaged me like, "Hey, I have a few closers. Do you have any offers for them?" And then one of them was Sam, and I was like, "Well, like I have some offers. I don't really want to charge for that, just like other people do. Let me just help out some of those, good people out there who are skilled and just disinterested. Let's do that. Maybe I can build some good connections." And I did that for Sam, a few other people, and I always moved forward in that type of way. Like for example, when I was having strategy calls with some of the clients that were jumping on our strategy sessions for the previous business, like when they didn't have enough budget to move forward with us, it wasn't like, oh, you don't have enough budget, so like we're not gonna speak ever again, like fuck off, like just like get more money and then chop back on the call. I'm like, hey, I know you don't have the finances right now. Let me help you out so you can get those finances up, or let me help you out so you can be in the position where you can make that decision. And I always helped people, even without knowing if it's gonna benefit me further. Like I always like helping people and then just, I kind of see what happens. Like I remember when I started, it took me like 7, 8 months to make some solid money in setting purely because of the opportunities. Like I didn't have any in the beginning, especially, you just get into the space, you know nobody. And I just want to be that kind of a bridge that helps people get those opportunities and just connect to the right people. If somebody shows hunger, somebody shows that they really want to do it, I just connect them. I just love doing those friendly favors, and that's just, I guess, my formula, just being kind and helping people disinterestedly. Mm, yeah, I think there's nothing really to add to that. I just love helping people.
Got to give a damn, right? Simple as that. Like giving a damn about people and like that starting off with those intentions is what enables you to take the right actions anyway and develop a network and a reputation anyway. And that's something that I think and unfortunately, I think setters have the wrong expectations in the marketing, especially new setters, right? Where they believe that if they work 4 hours a day, they'll make 10K a month, like 5, 10K a month. And you know how the
Yeah.
marketing misleads people. And unfortunately, it makes people entitled. And it makes them focus on what they want and what they get rather than what they can do for other people. Right. So like yeah, and if we can debunk those things, I think you'd be a great person to do that. Like talk people through the realities of like what it takes to be a top performing appointment setter, and I guess just rip apart those untruthful statements in the marketing, right?
Yeah, so one thing that I'm not sure if like a good word to say it is like I'm ashamed of, but I was definitely part of some businesses that were selling those type of expectations, like 4 hours, 8 hours. And main reason why I quit working with them just because of my integrity. Because in the beginning, uh, you can spend like 4 hours, 5 hours to start as an appointment setter. Like if you have another job, if you have like any other responsibilities, yes, that's possible to kind of get your foot through the door. If you want to make 5 to 10 grand, there's no way in the world that you can do it like within 4 or 5 hours. Like let's be totally honest. Like every
Well, I mean,
single
even if you did, you'd have to have such a very high skill level, be part of a very optimal offer to even reach those kind of numbers
yeah,
anyway. So that takes time, right? But yeah, sorry, carry on, mate.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people who even see those stories are just newbies, and like, no offense to those people, like they are just starting in sales, they just know nothing, and like honestly, 90-day program, 60-day program, there's not a program that I know of that can help people make 5, 10 grand within 60, 90 days. Like those are skill set that I learned through practice, through just putting in the reps. Like, you don't become like whether you join NAPQ for 7 level, whether you join objection box, you just can't go from zero to making 30 grand per month. Like when you're just a newbie, when you just like were working in a magazine or something. Like maybe you're like one off, but that's like maybe one person out of 1,000 that gets extremely lucky. Like there's no type of program that I know of that can help with that. So in the
I
beginning,
was just sorry, just a
yeah,
comment on that as well. Like, oftentimes, people have to be at a certain development level anyway when they get into those programs that enable them to get those results quickly. So there's obviously so much context behind the result that you do see with testimonials online, and that can be
yeah,
misleading as well. Yeah,
100%. Like when you see the people, like you see the testimonials of from previous programs, like let's say Sam Ovens. Like I joined Consulting Accelerator as well, and like all due respect to him, like I really like his content and everything. But you have those testimonials where people are making 1 million a month, 2 million a month, and I can see how that could like paint the wrong picture to somebody that just is joining that space because they can think they can do the same thing. But the people who actually make that 2 million, it's not that they were just nobodies from like a magazine or something like a month ago. Probably they have CPAs, they already worked with clients, they already know their space, they already did some money in their space. Like there is some type of foundations that they built, and they just need more advanced stuff to climb higher. Those are not the people who don't have the foundations in place. So if you want to be a setter in the beginning, start with those 5 hours to learn the principles. Don't think about it, hey, I'm gonna make a shit ton of money in the next 3 months. Just start doing it while you're working your 9 to 5. Like I literally forbid anybody, don't drop away from your current job when you're learning that skill set, because that's just gonna put you in an even more stressful position. Learn it while you're working. Um, and then when you feel comfortable, let's say you make 1 grand with setting or 2 grand with setting. Okay, let me give it a shot and go all in. And then you go all in, you work 8, 9 hours, 10 hours. You definitely are not gonna work 4 hours as a setter. I'm gonna tell you that. No respectful company like, 7 level, and like all due respect to those people, but no respectful company like 7 level or any other company that's making like a few $100,000 per month is not gonna hire somebody that's only working 4 hours. This is a role that I feel is best described as being in the trenches. Like as a setter is somebody who just puts in enormous amount of hours. Then from being a setter, you can switch to being a closer, where you kind of take back that, I guess, power over your schedule, so you can work a bit less and still take those calls. And then maybe to management, where you take full control of your schedule and the amount of work that you do, you just decide like, okay, like I can finish those projects in 5 hours, the rest of my day is good. Like it's just, you just have to climb to the top. The higher you get, the more you can take kind of control of your time. Funny thing about it though, I'm working more hours while managing than I worked as a DM setter, because I just engraved in my mind, like, hey, I'm curious, how much can I get from it? If I did from setting, like I work 12 hours, how much can I get from managing if I also work 12 hours? So I just end up working even more. So it's just like, building that mindset.
Absolutely, and you can tell it comes from a service-based mindset, right? And I think that's what's that's if you've noticed with this, guys, like the people that I've had on board this podcast, if you've noticed a common trend, all of these people are focused on service. They're focusing on not entitlement for the result, but they go out and work for it. They put it in, they learn as much as possible, and this is the trend that I hope you guys see. It's so important to understand this because if we come in and we already have that sense of entitlement, then it leads us into a place where we rob ourselves of the opportunity to even improve who we are, as well as our skill set. And as well as that, we limit our income, right? Because we're not going out there and solving a problem. Because another thing is, we are more important than just appointment setters. We are service providers for those businesses and solving a very core problem, which is actually boosting their revenue. So, and that's what I wanted to touch on with you, Casper, is like the value and importance of an appointment setter. Because a lot of people look at this and they look at, oh, it's just a transition to closing, right? It's no biggie, just get into closing as soon as you can, right? So, what would you say to that, and how much value do you place on the role of appointment setting?
Yeah, good question. One thing I want to add, what you just mentioned before as well, just getting into that space, like an appointment setter, closer, manager, whoever. Like if you're getting into that entrepreneurial space, it's not just a job that you're gonna be doing. It's not just like your fun little side business. This is just like it ends up being the entire lifestyle. Like my entire lifestyle is this. Like same when you're working out, when you wanna become a bodybuilder, you can't just be bodybuilder during the week and then be a normal person during the weekend. You have to have it as a lifestyle. You have to always see the good. You have to always work out. When you're in this entrepreneurial space, you always have to develop yourself, reading books, buying courses, learning from people that know more, like all of that jazz. Like it never stops, pretty much. Once you stop, it never ends.
But that's a
But
huge point. It's more like,
yeah,
rather than balance, it's integration with everything.
yeah. Like I kind of do not believe in a word like work-life balance, like because that just for me it just became my life. Like I just like when I tell somebody like I'm working like 12 hours, 13 hours a day, like a lot of people say like, oh shit, like you're making like so much money and you're working 13 hours a day. Like how are you even alive at that point? Like how do you enjoy your life? Well, those 13 hours that I work, I actually enjoy. It's not like I
Yeah.
just log in and I'm just like, oh shit, I have like 6 hours of calls a day. I'm like, no, I actually connect with my team. Like I helped my team develop like in their personal life and their skill set. It's enjoyable. Like I log in and I'm feeling driven to help out a lot of people. Building like building a whole, well, industry behemoth, you know? Like that's how I wake up. Like I'm just mission driven. Um, but to answer to your question, like for the appointment setters, um, the business wouldn't even exist without appointment setters, because this is the biggest gear in the watch that you have. Because when you think about it, you break it down, it's marketing, it's email, VSLs, whatever. But let's say they don't exist. Like let's say it's the most simple business ever. There's marketing, there's appointment setters, there's closers, there's a business owner or like delivery. So without appointment setters, we wouldn't be able to convert the leads from marketing to closing. So closers wouldn't have any calls to even have, so there would be no revenue because no calls would be closing. So setters are one of the most important factors in the business, one of the key pieces, because you're qualifying people that then end up jumping on that call, and then closer can help them and then sell them on the service. So without this position, like nothing else would exist. And on top of that, if you want to become a good closer, you need to also know how to qualify people and how to be a good seller. Like not every seller can be a good closer, but every closer can be a good seller because they already know the ins and outs of sales. Like when you think about it, if you're just like a normal person that just, worked a 9 to 5 and you want to start in closing, so for some people it's gonna work, but it's too steep of a curve for you to stop right here to start right here as a closer when you're just here. So I always recommend people to start step by step. You want to become a closer? Cool. Be a setter for at least a quarter. Then, for example, be a triager for a quarter. Like learn all of those processes that are inside your company's business. Like don't just jump and become a closer. Learn how the entire process of qualifying sets in the DMs or like anywhere else looks like. Learn how the triagers triage. Then learn closing, because then you'll have a full picture. You'll know the ins and outs of each pretty much, part of the business.
100%. No, that's such a good explanation on the importance of this role because I think oftentimes appointment setting is one of those things where it's just a cog in the wheel, but it's also like and I explain this in two different ways, right? So I speak a little bit about the basketball analogy, right? With Michael Jordan, he needed oh, that's it. Scottie Pippen, that's it. His guy that was always assisting him in all of his shots. Without Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan would not have had the record that he did have or the success that he did have. Same with like the pawn pieces on the chessboard. Yes, they are small, insignificant pieces by looks, but the impact they have on the chessboard is a lot more than people do realize. So no,
Yeah,
that's absolutely invaluable. But yeah, I wish
great
we had
analogy.
more time, Casper. There's been some excellent pearls there. Of course, now actually this is a bit more of a different outro because they're actually, I believe, seventh level are hiring DM setters at the moment as well as calling setters. Is that correct right now?
Yeah, we do. So if anybody that's watching that video, like I'm not sure how Taylor maybe is gonna put something fancy in the description, or maybe you have Taylor on Facebook, or maybe you can message directly me. Um, just message me. Hey, I watched the podcast with Taylor. I wanna work with Seventh, and then we can move forward from there. We're hiring both for outbound for the DM team. Also, we're hiring closers now. So if we have some people that are a bit more advanced or are already closing on some offers, they have the experience, hit me up or Taylor up, and I guess we're gonna move from there, right?
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. Closers and setters. If you guys want to comment below what you want to be hired for, so just comment setter or comment closer if you want to be a closer of seventh level. And of course, then I can reach out to you on Facebook. I probably will know who you are as my subscribers and viewers. So just comment that. And of course, we can move forward further. And as far as people reaching you, I'm assuming Facebook is the best way to reach you as well.
It's actually one of the worst. So if
Oh,
you can
right.
reach
Okay.
me on
Maybe not then.
IG, yeah, if you can reach me on IG, which is
Okay.
still Kacper Wiloch _, pretty easy. I'm gonna respond there like pretty much instantly. I'm almost always there.
Perfect. All right, there we go. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Casper, and hopefully we'll be able to have you on at some other point soon. It's been great. If you guys have enjoyed it, of course, do like the video, comment some of your takeaways as well, and share the video because more people need to hear about the realities of appointment setting and how valuable this really is within the industry. So yeah, we'll leave it there and hop on to the next episode. Take care, guys. Thanks for coming on, Casper.
Yeah, thank you as well. It was a really great call, brother.
Cheers.